Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Global Impact. Today, I'm David Markwell, host of the show on TECNTV.com. Thank you so much again for having you on the show. Such a blessing to have you, and such a great joy for us, really, to have you on the show. We appreciate you. We appreciate the time that you take to watch the show with us. Thank you so much. How are you doing? How is life over where you are? It's been really sunny today in here in Abidjan. Little showers, a little rain, heavy rain, oddly something that is odd in Africa when the rain is a bit heavy but with sunshine. So we had that sandwich today. It was great. But we're grateful to God for life, and thank you so much for those of you that have been praying for our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ in Nigeria. And other parts of the world where Christians are being persecuted. Thank you so much. It is important for us to keep praying for those who suffer for the faith, like our brothers in China. We need to keep praying for them, trusting God that something wonderful will happen. So we are back today again with another exciting edition of the show. I hope that and today in this exciting edition of the show that you will enjoy and also carry something along with you on this show today. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'll be right back after this break. Okay, so welcome back. Thank you so very much. We have been talking about an important issue, of course, about Nigeria. We are with the background of the activities that happened in Nigeria over the weekend, the attack on St. Francis Catholic Church. This is one of the reasons why we've been looking at the subject of the question of self-defense. Should the government continue to wait on politicians and look forward to politicians and the government defending the people? What if the government failed, as in the case of Nigeria, where the government has failed over and over 2,000 attacks on Christians over the last 15 years? And that is really terrible. That's really terrible. All kinds of attacks. First of all, it began with Boko Haram, and then came like 9 years ago, came the Fulani Herdsmen, which we are looking at then. But the event of last Sunday came on the background of another event that happened. Here is a WION video about the horrible attack that happened a fortnight ago in Sokoto. A student of the federal college, Shehu Shagari Federal College of Education in Sokoto, and this really went around the world, and a lot of as the realities about what's going on in Nigeria came to light. Take a watch.
Of insulting the Prophet Muhammad, and so they killed her. The incident has shocked the world. The incident took place in Nigeria's northwestern state of Sokoto. The victim has been identified as Deborah Samuel. She was a student of the Shehu Shagari College of Education. The students were upset over her comments, so they hunted her down, dragged her out of her college room, and attacked her and then set her ablaze. The details are disturbing to say the least.
Yeah. He's now shouting Allahu Akbar, kill her, kill her, kill her, Allahu Akbar.
In the attack, the video of the attack has gone viral with the hashtag Justice for Deborah. An online petition has also been launched seeking punishment for her killers. What's more disturbing is that this is not the first such incident in Nigeria. Cases of vigilantism and people being jailed for blasphemy keep happening periodically. And in most cases, those accused of blasphemy are from the minority community. And it's not just armed vigilantism that is of concern. Terror groups like the Boko Haram frequently attack villages and kill civilians based on their beliefs. In Nigeria, Muslims constitute 53% of the population and Christians 46%. Despite this religious diversity, Nigerians remain vulnerable to sectarian persecution.
All right, so that's really a disputable fact there. I was looking at the figures from Open Doors USA, Nigeria, Nigeria, which is about 200 million people estimated, has 98 million Christians, so that's not 46% of 200,000. The reason why these figures are disputed, it depends on who you are listening to. And the last census that was counted in Nigeria was not officially declared. And a lot of suspicion. First of all, provisional declaration showed that the rulers, then the military rulers who conducted the census, refused to show religious differences, and was suspected by many people that it was because they found out that there were more Christians than Muslims. That's why they refused to, and then eventually they never released the final tally of the census. So Nigeria has gone on many, many decades now without census. Nobody knows exactly what it is. So depending on who you ask, you know. But then again, so on the background of the killing of Deborah Samuel, which was really, really incredibly angering, not just to Nigerians, not just to Nigerian Christians, but worldwide. There was a lot of outcry all over the world, outrage at the killing of this girl, which was falsely accused of blasphemy. Now, and we had not rested from that. Then the attacks came up last Sunday in St. Francis Catholic Church. Before we go to that, I want you to understand the background. I have talked about Boko Haram attacks in Nigeria before. Just take a look at this video and you can see many years of attack, or just about Boko Haram. But I want to state that first, then I will talk about the Fulani herdsmen, and then we'll talk about race. I'll be right back.
Christians across Nigeria are becoming the victims of increasing violence. On Christmas Day 2011 in Madala, about 40 kilometers from the capital of Abuja, a car loaded with explosives was detonated just outside the grounds of St. Teresa's Catholic Church. 44 people were killed, over 80 were left injured.
There were a lot of people, and some of them were coming with some item for me to bless: rosary, crucifix, olive oil. As soon as I finished blessings, I was about entering the house, I heard just a loud sound. Bah! Twice.
The bombing, one of the deadliest in recent times to scar Africa's most populous nation, was carried out by the extremist militant Islamic group Boko Haram. This wave of terror, which is becoming more audacious and frequent, threatens to drive Christians from their places of worship. In the city of Jos, the Church of Christ in Nigeria headquarters were devastated in February 2012 by a suicide bomber.
When you look up there, you see some of the pieces of the scattered car and the remaining engine of the car there. He was aiming at the congregation, and if God had not protected, it could have pulled this building down, and people could just have been buried down here.
Nigeria's Boko Haram, which in the Hausa language means Western education is forbidden, is a vague and undefined militant Islamic group with origins in the northern city of Maiduguri. At its outset in 2002, Boko Haram preached a doctrine of rejection of all things Western, That, as they claimed, led to the country's social injustices. By 2009, the group's actions turned ugly. Boko Haram began a campaign of terror with assassinations and senseless suicide bombings, resulting in over 1,000 deaths. Police stations, churches, markets, schools, and even the UN headquarters in the capital, Abuja, have been attacked. To combat the spread of violence, the government has imposed a curfew in certain areas. Roadblocks and checkpoints have become an everyday experience for both Christians and Muslims. There is growing fear that Boko Haram is networking outside Nigeria's borders as their attacks become more deadly.
We know from intelligence reports that this Boko Haram group has been receiving training from groups outside of Nigeria, like the Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb and also the Al-Shabaab in Somalia. They have fraternal links with these terrorist, fundamentalist Islamic groups. The trainings they got are professional trainings, how to make the bombs. Nobody would have taught them that in Nigeria.
The minority Christian population in the predominantly Muslim north, where a stricter Sharia law is enforced, is increasingly the victim of threats and violence perpetrated by Boko Haram and its supporters. Entire families have been forced to flee their villages, leaving their property and lives behind.
Christians are being targeted and shot at. Sometimes they follow the Christians in their homes and shoot at them. The children you see me with know what a bomb is, know what gunshots are.
Amid this devastating wave of persecution, Catholic leaders have called for justice and order. They seek dialogue between the religious communities in the hope of mending the relations torn apart by terror. They want to avoid letting a violent minority draw the nation's attention to religious differences that to them are not the source of the conflicts at all. After the Christmas Day blasts in Madala, a centre for counselling and dialogue has been created by the diocese.
There is no revenge. Rather, we should pray for the conversion of the people who the perpetrators, as well as those who are financiers, who support this group called Boko Haram. We're in discussion to see how we can build small units of interreligious dialogue, interfaith dialogue, Muslims as well as Christians. And when we talk of Christians, we talk of other denominations, with the Catholic Church being the leader and bringing our brothers and sisters together. So my prayer is that the good Lord will rest the souls of all those who died, because I consider them martyrs. They died for Christ.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
Hi, I'm Pastor Greg, host of the Chosen Generation Radio Show, heard on the Truth Broadcasting Network and seen on TECNTV.com Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, where I discuss today's most important issues through a biblical constitutional lens. TECNTV.com appreciates our partnership with NTD, and we'd love for you to give our great programming a view. That's TECNTV.com, Chosen Generation Radio with Pastor Greg. God bless you, and God bless America.
Welcome back. Thank you so very much. Thank you for holding on. And then we're back to, again, talking about this subject, Nigeria, the question of self-defense. The Reverend Father who spoke last on last video we just watched talked about there's no revenge. Absolutely, we as Christians don't believe in revenge. The Bible says vengeance is mine. We leave it to God to revenge for whoever has done whatever. Now, that's really important for us to stress that. That's the reason why Christians in Nigeria have never undertaken on their own to carry out an attack against the Muslims. There has been, in the last 15 years, over 2,000 attacks, separate attacks, deadly attacks with fatalities. Yet, Christians have never said, let's organize and take it back to them. Of course, in the midst of the attacks, on many occasions, the Christians disarmed the Muslims and went on the offensive and actually beat them down to victory. In many occasions, it has happened over and over. However, Christians have never sat down and said, well, we are going to attack the Muslims. We're going to kill them. We're going to show them. No, Christians have never done that because we don't believe in vengeance. However, these attacks have been so repeated over and over and over that a lot of questions come up on what do we do. Many years back when I was in Nigeria, and especially when I was in Kefi pastoring a church in Kefi, in the city of Kefi, in Nasarawa State, I was, as a pastor of the church, I was also a member. My church was a member of the Christian Associations of Nigeria, and it was also the member of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. Now, I attended many meetings of the CAN, which is the Christian Association of Nigeria. At that time, there was a lot of encouragement for Christians to actually learn to defend themselves, to learn to get ammunition, and to learn to. But there has always been this debate among Christians: should we get weapons? Should we defend ourselves? Should we rise up and fight? Is that how God wants us to fight? Many people believe that Christians should just pray and hold on and wait on God that He will turn the tide. Many other people, Christians, believe that we need to get up and defend ourselves, get weapons, do anything that we can do to defend ourselves. Many other Christians believe that we should approach the government and insist that the government carry out their constitutional rights. Now, so that debate has gone on and gone, but the tension, the pressure that comes up after every attack is just incredibly unbelievable. And you can see, as we can see shortly in this video, I want to show this video, and I believe that we can feel the impact of this video is a bit stretched, so I don't know if we could enjoy, but I hope that we do. You know, just a short video, but the expression of emotions is very strong.
This video. Okay, gentlemen of the jury, we were just woken up this morning to receive the news that the Fulani herdsmen that probably is going on through every corner of the country as a rumor or perhaps a hype news. I want to tell you that this is for real. My name is Magnus Oraka. I live in Jos. I'm not scared because I can never be scared. What is going on right now in this country is beyond assumption. This is wrong, and this is absolutely wrong. We woke up this morning to receive the gory news of Fulani herdsmen who attacked a nearby community. They are coming close. This is war declared on Nigeria. This is war declared on Christians. It is time we all rise up against this menace. It is time we all rose up to fight what is on our hands. This is no longer about APC. This is no longer about South. This is no longer about North. It is about Christianity and Islam. If you still think this is a joke, we are losing it. If you take a look around, we have three. Are there three? Yeah. We have three victims. Wait, bring it here. We have three victims right now, but because it's a private hospital, they said we can't go in to record them. You can see people here. Some of them are relations. Some of them are relations of the people that are shot. These are, I mean, the war against us now is funny. How do we fight this war? We have no guns. We have no sword. We have no knife. All we have is stick. What is the advantage of stick and guns? So when you see this message, don't think it's real. We are under attack. I urge the country to rise up against Buhari. Buhari is an idiot. Buhari is an idiot. Look at my face. I'm in Jos. Whoever thinks the Buhari supporter, come and attack me. Come and look for me. God punish all of now who vote Buhari. And anybody still supporting Buhari, God punish him. That's all. God punish all of you.
A lot of anger and expression of disgust because these attacks go on and on and on and on relentlessly. That particular place where this guy is talking about is close to the 3rd Armored Division of the Nigerian Army. Very, very powerful military base in Jos. And yet these attacks happen just 1 mile, 2 miles away from the military base with no intervention from the military whatsoever. Sometimes the military come when the attack is already gone, is already done. Now, when President Trump became president, he traveled to President Buhari also became president of Nigeria, and he traveled. Sorry, President Buhari was already the president of Nigeria, and he traveled to the U.S. He was invited by the U.S. administration, by Trump's administration, on a state visit, and they had a talk between President Trump and President Buhari. Here is a clip from Channels Television. Not the best of all, you know, but I'm not happy with the way they addressed President Trump. But I'm okay with the point. They're trying to bring out the point here. Because many people have been asking, what is the government of Nigeria doing? What are they saying? Now, let's hear President Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari himself, talking about this.
We're going live now to the White House, where President Muhammadu Buhari is with Donald Trump for that important meeting. The bilateral, which is supposed to take place today, is holding right now. President Buhari and Donald Trump. Let's listen in on the conversation.
Very grateful to the United States for agreeing to give us the aircraft we asked for, the spare parts. We are even more grateful for the physical presence of the United States military specialists that go to our institutions in Nigeria and train them and go to the front in the northeast to see how they are performing as a result of the training given to them. So the commitment of the United States in get rid of terrorism across the world, we are first-hand experience of that, and we are very grateful for it. The problem about the cattle rearers and herders in Nigeria is a very long historical thing. But the states most concerned, they knew that the Nigerian herders never carried anything more than a stick and occasionally a machete to cut down foliage and give it to their animals. These ones are carrying AK-47. So I don't think people should underrate what happened in Libya. 43 years of Gaddafi, people were recruited from the Sahel. They were taught nothing other than to shoot and kill. With the demise of Gaddafi, they moved to their countries and to their regions, and they carried away with them the only experience they have in training.
All right, so first of all, thank you so much for that clip from Channels Television, Nigeria. First of all, President Buhari began by thanking President Trump and the United States for willing to sell aircraft spare parts and aircrafts, and also grant training to the Nigerian military. Now, these are the same things that President Goodluck Jonathan asked from President Obama, and he was denied. President Obama denied every kind of assistance to Nigeria while encouraging the terrorists, protecting them. This is despicable. This is the reason why many people don't have any regard for President Obama, even here in Africa. He's doing really very poorly because even though Michelle Obama was holding Bring Back Our Girls, they had no intention of helping the girls. They only had intention of helping gays in Nigeria, because President Obama made his stand clear that he was not going to support Nigeria. He was not going to give them arms to fight Boko Haram unless they were willing to change their stance on gays. Now, so you understand what he's talking about. And there's no country in Africa, probably except South Africa, where if you equate any kind of assistance to save lives because of the rights of gays, you are going to be rejected outrightly, totally outrightly. You know, it's not an issue here in Africa. You know, however, but the same President Trump that was despised and insulted by many Nigerians is the one that did what President Barack Obama didn't do. President Barack Obama denied Nigeria every kind of assistance, aircraft, fighting weapons, so that they can combat Boko Haram, and they were not given. They were denied every kind of assistance, but President Trump gave it. So, however, again, another point on this video is the last thing that President Muhammadu Buhari said just before before we took off the clip. He said that that the Fulani herdsmen never carry a gun. All they carry is just sticks and then occasionally a machete, so that they can cut off foliage and give it to their animals. Now, that's really completely not true, because a lot of Fulani people have carried weapons, AK-47s, and I've given my story over and over, and I can give it again, you know. And so it's important. We're going to play a video shortly when we come back from the break, and I'm also going to give you an account of my own experience and the loss that my family has had in the hands of Boko Haram, and in the hands of Fulani herdsmen, rather, you know. But it's important for us to say, as we have said often, that there are two different terror approach in Nigeria. First of all is Boko Haram, which a lot of people know, because they carried out sophisticated attacks with explosives and with even in some places with armor vehicles. They have carried out attacks against schools and churches and organizations and marketplaces. Everybody knows that. But the second other group that many people have no idea is the Fulani herdsmen. These are crude, archaic fighters, the same people fighting in Mali against the government of Mali. It is the same ethnic group, and where they call from community to community, touch down houses, wait for people to come and shoot them with AK-47s or machete them down, you know, and slaughter those who survive, who they caught. Who they caught. So these are two different groups, and but the Fulani herdsmen are probably more deadly on the ground level than Boko Haram. Boko Haram are able to push greater terror than Fulani herdsmen, but when it comes to murder and taking of lives and destruction of properties, Boko Haram is no match, for Fulani herdsmen. So I'll be right back after this break, and we will look further into this. Please hang around.
This is Global Impact with David Marquell, your host. Isaiah chapter 2 verses 1 to 5 says that a time is coming when the church will rise in authority and influence and dominate the earth. And many nations will come and say, "Teach us the ways of the Lord." Global Impact is a show that inspires you as a Christian to rise up through the values of the kingdom of God and shine as light wherever you may be. We believe that missions is no longer limited to some isolated, unreached community in some dark continent. The church should reach out to all aspects of life, including politics, business, science and research, the media and diplomacy, and every aspect of human life. Join us on Global Impact, Monday through Friday, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 6 p.m. GMT. Global Impact is broadcast on TECNTV.com. Join us.
Thank you so very much for hanging in there. Welcome back from the break. We appreciate you so much. We would like to hear from you, please. If you can leave us a message, I would really love to. We want to know what you think about what we do and our show. Again, let me put our email out there on the screen. You can drop us a mail. I think I put up the email, so we'll get that back as soon as possible. Well, so we really appreciate you. We'll get our email out there again. Please kindly for us, leave us a message. Let us know what you think about what we do. Our email is jimpact2018@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being always there for us. We appreciate you. We thank you. All right, so welcome back to the show again. So from the last clip that we saw, President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria claiming that the Fulani herdsmen never carry a gun. They only carry sticks, and occasionally they carry a machete just so they can cut down foliage to feed their cattle. Is that really true? We're going to look at that. We'll see.
This damage occurred to the vehicle. As a result of this damage, we've realized that the bonnet can no longer take the number of weapons that it usually will take. However, Baba will just do a quick demo for you and then we'll return back to base. Baba, enter your motor, open your door, open your bonnet, and come and put the gun. What do they call gun for outside? You put bindiga in a bonnet. Chicken bonnet. Leave him. Yo, wow. Yeah. That's a bit. Leave him. Look your back. You're not going to enter. Because of what? Because of touch it. Tell them. Okay.
Now that's the demonstration of how these weapons are transported to the Fulani people who go around using it.
There is a weapon already neatly concealed here. Baba just told us that because of this push dents in, that it might not take further weapons. But Baba, how many guns, how many bindiga did they enter here? Eh? I mean, talking for English. 4. So you carry 4 guns. Where and where you don't carry gun go before? Somebody should be in tap.
Yawa ga mana ina da ina ka
Stay like this so that the cameras.
Na dauko daga Isalu zuwa Ifon soje. Sannan na sake dauko a harwa yau da su na dauko daga Isalu
zuwa Ibom. Amma mutanen da nake ɗauko mu Fulani daji ne. Idan na ɗauko musu mun je a hanya inda suke ajewa sun ɗauko, na ɗauko na kawo musu a hanyar daji na sauke musu sun ɗauki kayan sun tafi.
Baba said he has conveyed the weapons severally along Ifon, his Sonlu axis, and that the people he conveys the weapons for are mostly nomadic Fulanis. That his role is simply to take the arms from one point to the other where they need it. That they will come out from the bush, take delivery of the weapons, and continue with whatever purpose they want to use them for.
Ask him how much do they pay for it.
They pay him 250,000 naira for every delivery. That's okay. That's okay.
Thank you.
Make a
Wow. Yeah, so that is it. He carries these guns, 4 of them. I think each gun for probably about $100. He's paid to carry them. He carries 4 each time, and he's carried them severally. And again, what he's saying that is these guns that he keeps transporting are to the Fulanis. The Fulanis are the nomadic people, the ethnic group of President Muhammadu Buhari, who Buhari claimed they never carry a gun. However, this is contrary to the Nigerian police have arrested, and I think the Nigerian police, I believe that it's the police, have arrested this man who is just one of the hundreds of traffickers who carry guns secretly to the same Fulanis that Buhari said they never carry a gun. These are AK-47s, and 250,000 is quite a large sum of money in Nigeria for one delivery. And he has carried them several times, so he has made millions of naira from just the delivery of this weapon. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari said the Fulanis don't carry weapons. Well, we will see if they do or not. We have already heard from the man who is transporting these weapons to these same cattle rearers. Now, if a gun is if just to transport is 250,000 naira, how much is the cost of one? One gun is millions of naira, and these Fulani cattle rearers cannot afford to carry this number of guns unless they are being financed by somebody, they are being bought by somebody, they are being given to them by somebody. Now let's watch a video that we will see these same Fulani people carrying this weapon around and doing whatever they want to do with it.
I'm Gabrielle Harris, and you are now watching The Break. On Tuesday of this week, Nigerians in London descended upon Westminster Parliament to protest against the recent killings perpetrated by the Fulani herdsmen in Benue and Enugu states in Nigeria. The group condemned the killings and staged the protest to bring international attention to the escalation of violence in recent months.
The purpose of this protest is to say that the killing of our people by Fulani herdsmen must stop. This protest is Nigerian protest.
This protest comes a week after an attack by suspected herdsmen that left 6 people dead and many wounded in Nimba of the Uzu Uwani community in Enugu state, and 2 weeks after 48 people were killed in another area of Enugu state as well. Armed Fulani herdsmen have killed hundreds of people in the recent attacks, including women and children. They have also destroyed properties and have occupied the host communities that they have invaded and attacked. You may wonder why the sudden rise in attacks. Well, in Benue State, the herdsmen claim that 10,000 of their cattle were killed. Tension between the herdsmen and farmers can be best explained most simply as a conflict over resources in Nigeria, and especially in the Benue Valley region of Nigeria. In these villages where grazing occurs, the damages by the herds include destruction of crops and farmlands, overgrazing of economic plants, and the pollution of water sources. All of the above have direct impact on the communities and people's livelihoods, as their economic activities are tied intrinsically to the water and land. Another critical issue that is related to the land is the phenomena of indigeneship in Nigeria, or the idea that gives an individual the right to own land. Land in most communities in Nigeria, such as those among the Tiv people in the Benue Valley, have symbolic meaning and are sacred, often considered an ancestral and historical sphere of influence. On the strength of that statement, therefore, conflicts over land are usually fierce, with massive destructions of lives and properties. Much attention was brought to the Fulani herdsmen in September of 2015 when a group of herdsmen kidnapped the former Nigerian presidential candidate Olu Falae from his home in Ondo State. Falae was then released after a ransom was paid. The Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria are nomadic cattle grazers. There is an estimate of 7 to 8 million nomadic Fulani and 16 to 18 million settled Fulani in Africa, where they are native to 7 West African countries, including Ghana, Senegal, and Guinea. For many years now, there have been tensions between the herdsmen and the farming communities in Nigeria, and the increase of kidnappings, attacks, and killings by the herdsmen in recent years have only exacerbated the tension. The Fulani herdsmen have also been referred to as the Fulani militants and are being compared to other terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and ISIS. It has been reported that between 2010 and 2013, 80 people were killed by the herdsmen, and in 2014, the herdsmen killed 1,229 people. Taraba, Nasarawa, Plateau, Kaduna, and Benue states have experienced some of the worst attacks. While speaking with reporters in Abuja, the senior Catholic priest in the Archdiocese, Reverend Dr. Will Ojukwu, called on President Buhari to take action against the herdsmen that he says, and I quote, are another form of Boko Haram, end quote. In April 2016, human rights lawyer Femi Falana filed a petition in the International Criminal Court and ECOWAS court alleging genocide and ethnic cleansing by the Fulani herdsmen. However, there are genuine concerns by many discerning Nigerians on the need to review the existing constitution in the country. Issues such as indigeneship and settlers' rights in the communities, and the review of the Land Use Acts, which have been abused largely by the upper class, should be in the front burner in the constitutional review process, many say. That's all the time that we have for today. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for that video. Again, so it brings out again to the forefront what I have been saying, I've been talking about. If you look at this analysis, it's actually really half-hearted analysis. It's kind of trying to kill a tree by cutting off the branches. The main problem is not just herdsmen and cattle rearers battle on resources. There has never been, for a long time, even when we were children in the 70s and 80s and 90s, we knew Fulani herdsmen who came around. They have never had problem with the issue of resources. They come to graze freely. They live with us communities seasonally. When the rains are over, they move down to the lower regions where they are around the rainforest areas. And then when the rain season comes in the north, they come up from the countries like Cameroon and right up to Nigeria, to Chad, to Niger, and they come to graze. There has never been problem about resources. There has never been problem. This issue actually is the issue it's partly the issue of Islam, the spread of Islam. If not, it's the key to the spread of Islam. Okay. If you said it is a farmers and graders issue, how comes every time they come to fight, they come at night, they touch houses, they burn down churches, they shout Allahu Akbar at the name of, and they want to put down mosque wherever they go? How comes that? What's that all about? What's that all about? How is it about grazing? If it's grazing, why don't they go to the court of law? Why haven't the government, if it was grazing issue, the share of resources, why hasn't the government intervened? Why hasn't the government go in between the farmers and the herdsmen and settle it? Why do they kill pastors? Why do they attack churches, attack pastors and kill them? Why do they do that? Why do they abduct pastors and kill them? If it is just about farmers, how many of the pastors are actually really farmers? Not many of them, you know. So it is just total garbage when they say it is herdsmen and and farmers fighting about resources. That's just bigger garbage there. That's lie, you know. And so I'm not just talking about stories. I'm talking about experience. I have had an experience, and I'll talk about mine shortly when I come back from the break. So please don't go away.
Everything that's reported on television isn't always true, but it should be. NTD, the power of truth. Now available 24/7 on television and streaming platforms.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Ken McClinton, the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, live for the nation's capital. I love this cat, the Exceptional Conservative Show cat, Jacob. We love you, and we want you to know we love the fact that you watch TECNTV.com. As chairman, founder, and president, we wish you much love and much affection. I love you. I love you.
Hey, this is Pastor Greg right here watching TECNTV.com live and enjoying. You should join me here on ChildrenGenerationRadio.com, and also my other favorite thing, ministering the gospel in India.
Hi, I'm Bob Record, and as you can see, I love hunting. And I also love watching TECNTV.com. Why don't you join me in doing that? But in the meantime, I'm headed back to the field. See you later.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Jones from Beyond the Lines. And when I'm not exploring Los Angeles, I am watching TECNTV.com. TECNTV.com. I love it.
I'm David McQuell. I'm the host of Global Impact on TECN. I'm a missionary in Abidjan, West Africa, working on establishing the largest history center. Whether I'm in the field or I'm working on history, I love TECN TV.
When I'm not making delicious cookies, I'm watching TECNTV.com.
Hi, I'm Randy. I love the golf.
And I love TECNTV.com.
Okay, welcome back to the show. I was sharing about my story. I come from Plateau State in Jos, Nigeria, and in 2018, incredible, unbelievable events happened. In fact, those events led me to having this opportunity to be a broadcaster on TECN TV. I did some interviews, gave some interviews rather, for TECN TV concerning what was happening in Jos. About 15 communities were attacked in the third weekend of July 2018, and my ancestral village was one of them, Ruku in Barkinla, the local government of Plateau State, Jos, Nigeria. And my community was attacked in the middle of the night. People went to the farm, my relatives and all the community, people who had gone to farm, those have gone to town, come back, and everybody was tired, and they've had dinner with their families and gone to bed. And in the middle of the night, somewhere around midnight, there was a shout. And usually in a village, when you hear a shout like that, it's either somebody just died or some horrible thing has happened to someone. So when one person shouts, of course, people ask questions. What is there? People begin to ask questions and think, was there somebody gravely ill? Was somebody very sick? You know? And then while they are still thinking, they began to hear shouts and more voices rising up. And people began to shout, they are here, they are killing us. And before you know it, the whole village was up, a village of probably about 200 people or 250 people. And people were already shouting and out and about. These Fulani people had come and surrounded this village, and they have never had confrontation with this village. They've never had any problem with this village. They came around the village in the middle of the night while people slept, and they began to touch the houses. They went around touching the houses, they spread themselves, they were well armed with AK-47 and machetes. They touched the houses and waited for people to run out of the burning houses, and they shot some of them with their AK-47s, and those who they could catch with their hands, they hacked them down, slaughtered them, and tore them to pieces. My uncle of blessed memory, my dad's cousin, who was really a very good, wonderful man, and who had been of great friendship and love for us with my wife. We had seen him immediately after our wedding and never saw him again, and will never see him again. He had to protect the little children, so he took the bullets in, protected the little children as they tried to shoot at them. And he was not only murdered, but his body was, they slaughtered him again and cut his body to pieces. Now this is disturbing. This is really hard to take. It's really been difficult for me to talk about it. And so that night so many people were killed. Thankfully there are mountains, really mountains and rocks surrounding the village, and many people were able to escape, but many other people were killed. Today lies in a mass grave are the bodies of 33 members of my family. They were buried in a mass grave. So I know what I'm talking about. When Fulani herdsmen came, they went back and came back again after the people were buried. Most people fled the community. The Fulanis came back. They came back with hammers and with axes and pulled down and beat down, destroyed the remaining houses that were standing. They hit them with hammers and broke down the walls and doors and roofs and completely destroyed the village. And they camped there, set up their tents, camped there, and all the crops that the farmers have found, they harvested the crops for themselves. Again, all these things happened, and the Nigerian security never showed up. The Nigerian police never came out, the Nigerian military never came up, and nobody came. The governor didn't defend the people, and nobody went out to arrest them. That is why we said the government has failed. The Nigerian government has failed. We cannot depend on the government. It is foolishness to depend on the government, because the government absolutely fails. The government failed the people. As far as the people of my community are concerned, the government does not exist. What's the purpose of government? And that's what we'll be looking at next week in the show. Throughout the week, we'll be talking about the importance of self-defense. But we are really grateful that you tune in today. We are glad we enjoyed your company today, and we pray that God will bless you and keep you and prosper you again. We love you. We appreciate you. We would love to hear from you, please. So please give us your thoughts about our show. We'll really be glad to hear from you. God bless you. I will see you again on Monday. Okay, I'll see you again tomorrow, rather. Tomorrow is Friday. We still have one more show tomorrow, and it will be wonderful. Please don't miss tomorrow's show. It will really be very important, and I'll be bringing you again some really deep facts from our communities in Nigeria and what the people have gone through. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Dreams are potential seeds. They need someone to believe in them. They need someone to finance them. And they need someone to embrace them. Partner today with the World Mission Center, Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and help us win Africa for Christ.